Okay. Maximum and minimum. I think of maximum and minimum like hills and valleys. In relation to the points around it, that point is going to be a min. In relation to points around it, that point right there is going to be a max. In relation to points around it, that point right there is going to be a minimum. Okay, so maximum versus minimum. Now, those are often also called turning points. The reason they are called turning points is because when you have turning points, you change from increasing to decreasing. So increasing is when your y values are getting bigger versus when you're decreasing, your y values are getting smaller. So you read a graph like you read a book from left to right. So here, start from there to there. We are decreasing. Then I start increasing again because I'm going up. Now you're going down a hill, down a roller coaster. So that's how you know you're decreasing. You're going down a roller coaster. Then you go back up, increasing. You're going up a hill. Okay? And that's going to be key that you guys understand how to do that, because that's super important as you get into a lot of later math classes. Okay. What we're going to do is we're going to graph this on the calculator, and not until calculus can you do this without a calculator, but I want you guys to find the maximum and minima. The intervals of increasing and decreasing are zeros, our end behavior, and we're going to sketch a graph of it. So pull out your calculators and put this graph on your calculator.
So this is how we use the calculator. I've put our function into y equals, and I'm going to do a zoom 6, a standard window, just so that I can see what my graph looks like. Now I don't have everything that I need in terms of my maximums or minimums, so I need to adjust my y's. So I'm going to go to my window, and I'm going to arrow down to the y's. The x's looked okay. I'm going to go negative 30 to 30, and let's go by 2's on our scale. So now let's press graph, and that gives me a better idea of what our graph looks like. So now what you're going to do is you want to calculate something. So you do second trace, and you want to calculate, let's calculate our maximums and minimums first. So I'm going to calculate the minimum, number 3. Now we know our minimum happens around here. So my little cursor is technically to the left, so I can press enter, and then I can arrow over now so that I'm to the right of my 0. So my x values are to the right. I'm going to press enter again. So now a guess doesn't matter because we only have one minimum, but you might want to go close to where that minimum is and press enter. So we know that our minimum, and you might want to write that point down. Now the maximum, same process. Just you're going to choose number 4, maximum. So now what you're going to do is you go to the left of the maximum. The maximum happens about right here where I'm circling, so you want to make sure your cursor's to the left. Right now my cursor's to the right because he is in numbers more. Now he's officially to the left because my maximum happens about right here. His x value is to the left. So I press enter. I press enter again. Now again, remember those little triangles mean that we are going to be looking in between those. Guess, go close to where. And now we have our maximum. Now you find zeros the same way. Second Calculate. 0, number 2. Now, zeros, remember the x-intercepts, so you have to go to the left of where one of your x-intercepts are. Right now, and since I have 3 of them, I have to do this 3 separate times. So I'm going to find this -1 first. So I'm going to arrow over to the left. I'm going to press enter. Then I'm going to arrow over and be to the right of where my 0 is. So my 0's in between where those 2 arrows are. Now it's about right there. Guess you want to go close to where it's at since we have more than 1. Press enter. And you get one of your zeros to be -3.027. And that 2 times e to the -12th. Remember, that means 2 times 10 to the -12th. So that number is super close to 0. So we could say that that's 0. So our x-intercept is -3.027. Let me walk you guys through finding another one. Number 2, 0 again. Make sure you're to the left. I have 1, 0. It appears that it's going to be right there. Approximately right there. I'm to the left. And I'm to the left again. I'm to the right. Press enter. And 1, 0 was 0.056. And then you guys try and find this last 0 on your own. And I actually have that in the video if you guys didn't do that.
Okay, now that I've put that graph on the calculator, let's copy and let's do actually step 5 first. Step 5 says sketch a graph of that. Okay, what I want you guys to label, okay, what it generally looked like when we graphed that guy, it looks something like that. Okay, we found our maximum point there to be -1.732 and 21.785. We found our minimum there to be 1.732 and -19.785. So those were our min and our max, and you're labeling those on your graph. Now the zeros, we went through and found all the zeros. Finding that 0, we got -3.027 and 0, and 0.056 and 0, and then our last one is 2.972 and 0. Okay, so we've labeled our maximum and minimum on our graph. We've labeled our zeros. Let's get the intervals of increasing and decreasing. So the intervals of increasing. My intervals are increasing, and I'm going to give these in interval notation from -infinity to -1.732. And you're just giving the x values here. You're telling me for what x is y getting bigger. And then I'm increasing again from 1.732 to +infinity. Decreasing. I'm decreasing when I'm going downhill or going down a slide, going down a roller coaster. I think about it like that. We are decreasing from -1.732 to 1.732. And again, when you're giving me the intervals of increasing and decreasing, you're just giving me the x values in interval notation. You are not giving me the points. These are not points. These are intervals. Okay, end behavior. F of x goes to something as x goes to +infinity, and f of x goes to something as x goes to negative infinity. So f of x goes to, as I get bigger, we're going to positive infinity. As I get smaller, we're going to negative infinity. Okay, so we've gotten our end behavior. And that's what I would expect you guys to do when you're giving me a graph.
Here are your lesson questions, where I want you guys to find all of these 5 things, and please make sure you do them on your calculator. Just don't write, I don't know how to do it. If you need help, go back and rewatch the video, or try and find another video on YouTube.